Welcome to the Four Corners series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 4th of December 1938. Now, if any of you have been following the channel, you'll be aware that I haven't actually made a video for this series for, well, now over a month actually. And the reason for that is that the new update, this is the Crime and Justice update, was released into the beta branch, and I wanted to move over both my series to this new update in order to get a feel for the new mechanics. And I'll be completely upfront, of the two series, I think this Four Corners series is the most vulnerable. And by actually playing the Seven Crosses series, I think I've actually confirmed that situation. Therefore, I think trying to keep this series going, or keep the economy going, is going to be pretty tricky. The reason is that if I show you up here, is we've got no over 21, so we've got no spare population to draft in to support us with the new buildings that we're going to have to put in. And also, if you look here, we've also got virtually no unemployment. So at the moment, all our resources are committed to keeping the current economy going. And what I've learned from the Seven Crosses series is that putting in the new crime and justice buildings puts quite a strain on the workforce. Plus, as the productivity starts to drop as well, that means you need more workers in key industries. And this what makes me a little bit worried about the fact that this economy, which is already under pressure, may not be able to deal with those problems. And what I actually want to do in this part is actually plan where we're going to put the new crime and justice buildings in. I can't use the vanilla versions. If I show you here, in fact, we haven't even switched to crime and justice on. We're going to have to switch that on so that it works like that. But if I show these buildings here, like the police station, there's no way we can staff a police station with 20 or 40 workers. And then of course we've got the courthouse, and the prison's even worse. We've got 70 workers there, considering we've only got a population of 5,800. And if I show you the breakdown here, which 3,533 are workers, we don't have a lot of leeway to do things. So we're going to have to use mods. Luckily, since the update hit the beta branch, we have got some mods. We're going to start with the police station first, if I can find it. And I mean, we got quite a few modded police stations here. Some of them are quite big and quite powerful, but we've got a couple of small ones here, which is, I mean, I think this one might be a little bit, I don't know, what's this one? This needs 6.5 tons of steel. Again, it's the commodities which are going to be quite crucial. We got a small police station here, 1950s. It only needs 2.6 tons of steel, and it's not too bad actually. So, and what I want to do is put one police station here. You've got to remember the police stations also need heat, so we're gonna put you in there. And then if I can get over to up to here, what I would like to do is put a second police station in over where I originally planned, which is in this area. I'm hoping that I can get coverage of all three villages with 2 police stations. Get that there. Now if we go back to, I keep looking across the bottom because I've been playing so much of Seven Crosses. Now we've got a bit of space up here, and I think we've got possibility of accommodation here. In fact, I think I would like to actually get that built now, hoping that we'll be able to suck up any excess population so that our overall population keeps growing. And then what we need now is a courthouse, and we've got a few small courthouses here. This one here, what's this one? This one needs, well, maybe that's a little bit too big. Apologies that the buildings may not look in context, but we've got to work with what we've got. That's got prefabs. I don't really want to use prefabs. I think we'll go for the smallest courthouse of all. And I'm hoping that if I put the courthouse over here, and we put some mud footpaths in up to this road here, possibly connect up through there like that. Maybe path through there. That gives us the courthouse. Now the biggest problem is going to be the prison. Prisons are really large, and I've only got the one mod, and it still needs 15 workers. And of course, that will take 45 prisoners. And what we're going to do is put the prison in about here, I think, on this side. Now, by having the courthouse and prison in New Hope, I'm kind of trying to give myself a little bit of an insurance policy. If the population starts to collapse across the map, we can contract into New Hope and possibly keep everything going, but it's going to be tricky, and that's putting it mildly. This is Titus bulk supply. This is New Hope road crew. Get you working on that and that. In fact, get you started on putting the basics on that and that as well. We'll put that's Titus. Why did it go to that one? So we got that and that there. I'm tempted, given the importance of this area, as we're going to bring Titus road work crews onto everything over here, including that, and then the courthouse and whatever we need to do out here, we should be able to pick up with this here. So we need you working on that. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to turn off the auto detect on this. I think what I might do is shed some of these jobs, although most of these jobs look like they've had stuff delivered anyway. Well, I think while we're building the road here, in fact, let me just split Titus here as well. What we need to do now is somehow get these roads built, start to build our police stations. Now we do have police cars, and I just want to show you that. And it's been the availability of our early police vehicles that's been part of the problem. If I show you police cars here, Novu has produced a police wagon that's carrying 9 passengers. We've also got mounted police as well, and I would half like, if possible, we could produce some police vehicles up in here, although no blueprint set for production. Yes, I know. And if we can get, we got a prison bus as well actually. Oh, that's cool. That's 142,000. Painful. This is only 35,000, so we're gonna use mounted police, I think, because we can produce these in here. So what we're gonna do is we'll make about 5 of those, and although it will probably have a bit of a problem, because I think we are out of crops. Oh no, we've got a few workers in here now, but we've got no real crops. And this is another threat, and this is one of the things that made me a bit nervous, is that we don't have a particularly wide range of crops on the map as well. We got this one here, but we don't have a lot of crops actually driving the whole process. And I'm not sure what we're only down to 12. We're already down to 12 tons of food, and can't remember now if we're exporting food. I think I've turned the food exports off as an attempt to defend the current situation. We've got 88 tons of food in there, and the bakery is working quite well. So I've got a feeling this is going to be a little bit of a struggle. For anyone who's not actually seen this series before, New Hope is our original starting village. This is the village we started on the map, and this, to a certain degree, is pretty well self-contained with the ability to build things. And we were starting to expand our industrial area out here, and beginning to plan our rail network as well. And I think somebody pointed out that I was trying to be a bit too ambitious with these bigger buildings, and I have to agree with that. Titusville is a little bit of a basket case. I don't think we've really managed to turn it round. So you can see it's Titusville that's actually pulling in the workforce here. And we've got a small secret police over here, which is, I think we've got a local intelligence office here. Why have I got two of these? I think this problem was the degree of coverage from the perspective of loyalty. I can't remember what the... In fact, let's just have a look at the overlays and see how bad things are. At the moment, we've still got good happiness, which means we've got good productivity. Of course, what's going to happen is, because we're not providing everything, but that happiness is going to drop, and that's actually going to give us a corresponding fall in productivity. You can see the loyalty is pretty low. We come over to here. This is, I think I used to call it Tudor Village, although that's not its proper name. The loyalty here is a bit better. Health is good at the moment. Happiness is good, but don't be deceived by that, because if I show you we don't have electronics here. You can see no one's got radio or TV here. So over time, what's going to happen is the happiness is going to drop down to about 70%, because to get an 80% happiness, we're going to have to provide food, clothes, and electronics. But we don't have the money really to import large quantities of electronics. And then to get above 80%, we need to bring in alcohol. At the moment, this is a dry economy, and I'm a little bit worried about introducing alcohol, but I suppose we could consider it. What we got here, we got a store here, and I think I was building this. I think it's this Father Frost workshop that may create electronics. I am wondering, we've got no real industry in this area beyond what we got here. So we're running out of crops with respect to alcohol as well. What we got here, we got a little bit of fabric factory going, but again we don't have large quantities of clothes either. And of course we need food, crops down here to produce the meat as well. Everything is so fragile, and this is what makes me so twitchy about this series and its ability to survive. And when you couple that with the fact that it just takes such a long time to build anything, we could be in trouble. I am inclined to possibly consider a pub over here. I think I will build a pub here. I think we probably will build a pub in here somewhere. Let's see if I can find a small pub, cheap, which we can build very, very cheap. Functional cafe. Now I'm possibly going to cheat a little bit. We've got a tavern here, which is I think maybe we put a tavern down the bottom here. Where would it be the good place to put it? We don't. This is one of the problems we're going to have, is the trying to get things fitted in here because of the availability of space. This doesn't need heating, at least. That's one saving grace. I think we will put that in there. Going to demolish that. And we're going to put a mud road in here. And then we'll get this guy working on... Just about to say I'll just get the helicopters working on it, but of course we don't have helicopters as an option in this series. Because I'll be honest, it's the helicopters that made a great difference when I was building the courthouse and prison in my other series, because I was able to get them to target very specifically to him. Why are these guys coming in here? We've got lots of passages. There's nothing here for you. Go away. And I don't want work. Got workers in here as well. I think I was building these bus stops to be able to try and take the pressure off of here, but I think building the cableway which takes up the workers up to here to keep my steel mill going is not necessary now. In fact, I can't remember why I built this bus stop here. I think this is one of the problems of taking a break from a series, especially a series as complex as Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, because you've got to try and remember the mindset of what you were planning at the time. Where other games such as like Imperium, you can see where the logical path going forward is, and you've also got options to change your mind. Where here, if you can't remember what you were building and why you were building it, I can remember the fact I was trying to push out this way to get more industry, but I think that is going to fall very firmly in the realm of a long shot, because we're going to really need to try and stabilize our population. This one, we're not getting any escapees, that's good. And at the moment we've got births are going over deaths, but that seems to have dropped down quite dramatically. Happiness is stable. Right, we're gonna have to keep an eye on these stats. So we've only got 2% of people have got radios. We've got culture, and that's something we're going to need to consider in Shooter Town here now, is the levels of culture. Because if people can't get to sport and culture, they will go down the pub and develop an alcohol dependency. It looks quite strong at the moment, and there's no new dwellings in this area, so I think we're good here. Got another Tudor market. We've got a little bit of electronics in here actually. I'd say my main concern is crops. We've got a little bit of crops in there, which hopefully yes, we got crops flowing into here, which means the bakery here has a surplus. Yeah, we got 18 tons in here, so that's good. Some crops in here flowing, and we got crops here. Of course, we got our big farm up here, which is not exactly particularly that good. Again, I think I pushed out here a little bit too quick, which means we're not getting the capabilities here that I was hoping for, but there's not much I can do about that. We've got 124 tons in there, 122 tons in there. Of course, in this game, when it comes to things like crops, you think in hundreds of tons, not thousands of tons. And I suppose what we're going to be is a little bit patient and see how. We've got asphalt shortage. Of course, the asphalt has got to be hauled from. I don't think. Resource missing gravel. Do we have a problem with asphalt? You just see the asphalt plant is in here somewhere in amongst all these trees. It's the charcoal kilns. Oh no, the asphalt plant is over here, is it? As I moved it. So we got problems with gravel again. So we're not producing enough gravel. I think what we got to do is try and shut down a lot of the jobs that this guy's working on. Portable fire station, where? Right, we're going to be a little bit brutal here. Where's this unfinished road? You're working on those roads here. Old corner pub. Where's this pub then? I put a pub in then. Okay, we've got a pub being built. I don't need this pub then. Although, well, I think we have a race because this is just gravel and boards, and this one is going to need asphalt, and it looks like asphalt is the problem. So let me just get into here, and we're just going to keep working through. Where are you? Bus platform. You can get cancelled. And what we got? And we'll cancel you. We're going to have to be brutal about this. There's no point pretending otherwise. We got factory connections. We're building factory connections out here. This is at the top of thing. I'm not exactly sure why we're building a factory connection out here. That must be nearly finished. Okay, and I think I'm going to shut that down. Got a factory connection here. We're going to shut you down. Father Frost workshop, I think I'd rather keep. And that is a factory connection to there. And again, we're going to shut that factory connection down. Anything that involves brickwork, we got. I think we're shut down one of the houses. We just need to be. Train depot, certainly don't want that. Oil fuel storage. Yeah, we don't want that. Unfinished pipeline, unfinished pipeline. Concrete plant, where is that? This is the big concrete plant, isn't it? Yep. Sorry, you've got to go as well. Unfinished conveyor, that's steel. Take out that factory connection. Small light aggregate store. Take that out. Take that out. Take that out. Got log distribution office, which is attached to the farm. We're going to have to leave that one. Got an asphalt plant here, which see what this one actually needs. Asphalt. Well, again, these are the advanced buildings. So I'm going to come here. What's this road here? Let's just zoom out a bit. Right, we're going to cancel you. Don't want you. Don't want you. Large aggregate store. Don't want that. Don't want that. Don't want that. Don't want that. Gravel processing again. It might be a step too far. I think I wouldn't mind leaving the shop in. Pump jack. Nope. Unfinished pipeline. Refueling station. Where are you? I think I'd like to leave that. Get rid of the conveyor. That's well, get rid of that conveyor tower. Old corner pub. Where's the gas station? We're gonna have to leave that gas station because it's close to the farm. I think it's the farm, isn't it? Sorry. Yep. And we've got this road here. I think we can leave that road alone. And that road. Right, I think we've got this down now to something we can work with. And so that's that construction office. Let me just, of course it's a bit more complicated with this area here, but these guys don't have a lot on. So I think here is okay. And of course we got all the tighter screws in here. So I think possibly by being a bit brutal that we may get away with this. Of course, the other thing I can check here is we've got coverage of the statues here, and because this is one of the new features of this update, we've got this here. This only covers that side. Also in here we've actually got, that's given a little bit of a boost here. We've got a big one here which covers that. So we've got overlapping kind of monuments and over here, which should improve the loyalty. Here we've got two which should definitely be overlapping. So you're overlapping there, and you're overlapping there. So we got reasonable loyalty coverage there, and we've got, if we just zoom out a little bit so we can see, we got loyalty coverage there, we got loyalty coverage there. So yep, so we're looking good, hopefully. What are you guys doing? Have you got anything to do? Yeah, you've got loads and loads of stuff. You can be working on whatever you need to do. So good there. The population is growing. That's encouraging. I mean, as long as we're sucking up that accommodation, no, as long as that population is actually enjoying, as long as that population is being drawn into our new accommodation, it's going to be quite good. We've got a fire here. This is our pollution monitor, which is good. And of course we're out of the snow now, so hopefully things will speed up a little bit. Asphalt is still the problem, but I'm hoping that if we can cut down the demand on the gravel, we should be, because we can get more gravel into here, because we're not pulling the gravel away from there to make roads and stuff. I'm hoping that we can get the gravel in here. That will give us the asphalt, and then what that will do is allow us to get this functioning a little bit better now. So it says no workers. Oh great. Oh. Yeah. Don't do this to me now, game. Why have we got no workers here? Is that because I've got everybody's too far away from this area now? Or is it down to the fact that, okay, trying to think. Let's see. Well, we got workers, but nobody lives here. Nobody lives here. We need to get some workers to here. Oh, we got one worker who kind of wants to work here. No export. I know the pollution is going to be an issue, but I think we've got to let people get back into these houses here. What is the pollution around here? Because technically what should happen is that because we're not, our gravel plant isn't working particularly that efficiently, we should be able to allow a few people into this area here. If these people can walk to there, so hopefully we can get a few people walking down to here, and so we're going to kind of skate along on an absolute minimum at the moment by the look of it. This is going to be a challenge, an absolutely terrible challenge. I'm going to get back to here, see how our we need to get this built. This has to be the priority. And you've got, so we got the bulk supply running in there. We need that concrete and gravel. We need more gravel production. I'm trying to think, well, how we can push this up faster or harder. I mean, I think with the increase in Got no workforce here again. We need workers. We desperately need workers, but we've got no workers in there. Just trying to think. Do we have extra gravel capacity here? We do. It's going to be a long shot, but we got any spare wagons somewhere like this? Now, apologies for anyone who thinks I'm throwing the general rules out for this series. And the honest truth is, I am. I feel that we need some dumpers in here. We got a little bit of money. I just want something that might give me a little bit more. I'm going to get a couple of these, and we're going to set a. Actually, we'll just do it quickly. You're gonna pick up gravel from here, and you're going to deliver it to here. Gravel non-stop. I know it's not going to be much, but anything that will make a difference is going to have to make a difference, is probably the polite way of saying it. That route take. Yep. And what we'll do is we'll start shipping gravel up from this area up to here. If we can get some extra gravel flowing into here, we can get some workforce in here as well. We are building up a little bit here, but it's just not, it's going to be a bit of a struggle, but at least the population is growing. That's a small consolation. We got no workers in here. Right, we're getting people here, and I'm going to tell you to work on that. We'll kind of split you 50-50. What we should do now is get some more regular supply of workers into there, and that should keep the asphalt plant going. Ooh. Coming together quite nicely. What are we doing first? It's the coal is the problem. See, the part of the problem we're going to have is that we're running on a minimum workforce here. Get a small amount of coal, and when I'm not convinced we're going to get the levels of production which is going to sustain our economy, because we definitely need this power plant. Let me just see. How are we doing here? We've got indication, actually average productivity 86%. So the productivity at the moment is good, although I just thought I just saw somebody mixed in there. See, the happiness is now dropping. We're down to 78%. To see where the happiness is actually. See, this is drifting down incredibly quickly. You're down to 75%. And you're down to 66%. Wow. I mean, okay, we've got food shortage now as well. Why are you not got food problems? This is again is part of the problem, that productivity is now dropping on our ability to sell, which means that we're not able to. Yep, this is what I feared. Because the happiness is dropping, our productivity is dropping, we can't serve the people, which is making them unhappier, and we don't have that population to sustain it. I don't think we're going to get away with this, to be honest, guys. Let me just see. Yep, we've got exactly the same problem here. I mean, I could increase that, see if we can get more We need to feed our population. You in there. And let's see what's happening. It's the food store. This one's okay. So we're getting people in Tudor Market here. We're collapsing on this side. I'm going to have to put... This is going to have to be a little bit desperate. Yeah, see, in the past, this 6 people would feed a lot of shoppers, but you can see we've got this problem now. I wonder if I can get... You know, I have to increase you to the max as well. And again, I don't really want to do this, but don't think we've got a lot of choice. If we can get more people into here, even with a workforce of 15, we're not feeding the population yet. Before this update, I didn't even need a full complement to get people. And of course, the problem now is that because there's more and more people trying to get into here to get food, that means there's bigger queues here. So, well, we might get away with this, guys. We've got 2 reported crimes, so we've managed to pull this one round. If we can get the food in, the trouble is we don't have the food now. This is going to be close, very, very close. So we've kind of got that under control. And hopefully 23 people. We might have saved the day. But the trouble is it's also affecting other areas now because I'm pulling workforce off of where it should be doing other things. Yeah, that one's sorted. Let's just check here. I think we've got it here. Now, as long as we can keep running out... Oh, no, we're not running out of food here. We've got a food supply there that's working. The trouble is we're going to need the workers on the powerhouse now in order to produce the food. So, yeah, we cannot store... Okay, well, that's great. Let me just see. And of course, we got other services are going to... I'm going to take a chance of reducing our other people at the fire stations. How's this one going? I think we may have headed off that problem. And of course, we've got growing crime problems, which is probably hindering happiness as well. Well, it's not that bad at the moment. But the trouble is we're not even close to building these because of the asphalt shortage. So we're kind of in a bit of a spiral of descent now. I'm going to reduce the workforce in here. You have to go for reducing the education standards. I don't think we've got a lot of choice here. The school is good. The university doesn't need anything. Is there any other areas where I can pull the workforce in from? Again, we may have power problems. Got a little bit of a duplication on the secret police, so I think I can pull you down. I'm just going to push you up to 35%. So we got that there. I think this is a little bit of a waste, so we're going to... Oops, no. I'm going to push you right down to the minimum. In fact, I'm going to shut you down, actually. Don't think the radio is having enough to justify having a workforce in it. I'd rather have the workforce come into here. Right, anything else we can minimize. Right, university. Sorry, but we need that workforce out doing other things. We don't want anyone to move into there yet. How's the heating plant? Heating plant is rock solid. Yeah, we just have a quick look. See, the productivity over here is pretty good. Let me just see what the happiness is here. See, this is still 71.85%. Reason these are dropping is the fact I'm not exactly sure why you guys have got I think you've got a higher loyalty, haven't you? So what we need, what's the loyalty over here? I know the loyalty's good here. You've got clothes, you've got 100% food, and you've got a little bit of alcohol addiction. Absolutely no idea. I've got no pubs at the moment, so how can we have an alcohol addiction? Well, it doesn't make sense because we haven't finished the pub yet. Okay, what is the alcohol situation then? Actually, I've just had a thought. Where's the orphanage? We've got an orphanage over here, haven't we? Yeah, this has got the same problem as I've noticed in the Seven Crosses. But I've got drunken children. You've got 38% alcohol addiction in our economy, but we've got no pubs. So I'm not sure where they're getting the alcohol from. In fact, I'm pretty certain I've got no pubs. Let me just see. It's this building, isn't it? All map. And where we got pub. We've only got 2 pubs and they're both being built. So unless the children are breaking into the alcohol production factory over here, this is our only source of alcohol, but we're only exporting it at the moment. Children, you got the alcohol, you got 50% alcohol addiction. I think this mechanic is pretty broken, to be honest. Yeah, we got kids coming out with 100% alcohol addiction. So much for getting a good education. So let's just see what the alcohol addiction here is. We got 2% alcohol addiction in here, 3% now. And if we kind of look at this again, for anyone that's not familiar with what I'm talking about, is if we probably come through here, see, we've got a 21-year-old here with a 58% alcohol addiction. You actually got a 22-year-old with no alcohol addiction. And then of course, if we go up to the older age groups, none of these have got an alcohol addiction. But I do wonder whether it is people who come out of the orphanages that have the alcohol addiction, where normal over 21s or people who kind of grow up in their own homes don't have that alcohol addiction. Down to 72% happiness. This is making me very twitchy. I think we solved the shopper problem. Yeah, I think we've saved the day there. And are we actually getting food into here now? Yep, so we've solved that food crisis. There's only a few people who got food, and hopefully some of them now will get in and do some sport and culture, which will reduce the alcohol addiction as well. Culture is a bit low, 64% happiness. This is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. I think we've managed to pass the first ordeal, but we've got a long way to go, and of course we haven't actually built these buildings here. So until we get crime prevention up and running, we're still at very much of a great risk. I don't know, we're kind of getting some crops flowing in which might keep things going, but this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting, and until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.